Jokes about life. A 16-year-old boy came home with a new Chevrolet Avalanche and his parents began to yell and scream, "Where did you get that truck?" He calmly told them, "I bought it today." "With what money?" demanded his parents. They knew what a Chevrolet Avalanche cost. "Well," said the boy, "this one cost me just $15." So the parents began to yell even louder. "Who would sell a truck like that for $15? They said. "It was the lady up the street," said the boy. "I don't know her name, they just moved in. She saw me ride past on my bike and asked me if I wanted to buy a Chevrolet Avalanche for $15. "Oh! My goodness!" moaned the mother, "she must be a child abuser. Who knows what she will do next? John, you go right up there and see what's going on." So the boy's father walked up the street to the house where the lady lived and found her out in the yard calmly planting petunias. He introduced himself as the father of the boy to whom she had sold a new Chevrolet Avalanche for $15 and demanded to know why she did it. "Well," she said, "this morning I got a phone call from my husband. I thought he was on a business trip, but learned from a friend he had run off to Hawaii with his mistress and really doesn't intend to come back. He claimed he was stranded and needed cash, and asked me to sell his new Chevrolet Avalanche and send him the money. So I did." Blonde jokes. There was a competition between a team of blondes and a team of brunettes to see who could catch the most fish ice fishing. Once the contest started, it was clear that the brunettes were going to win. They kept pulling out fish after fish. Soon, the blondes got word and sent over one of their team to see what the brunettes were doing differently. A few minutes later, the blonde comes running back. "A hole. You need to put a hole in the ice." Dirty jokes. A woman walks into a saloon and stands on a chair. "Fellas, my PY is so big that I'll give $100 to anyone who has something that I can't take." A big cowboy gets up and takes off his size 16 cowboy boots and shoves them into her PY. The boots are sucked right in. He grabs a flashlight and, that too, is sucked in. He puts his face in between her legs to get a better look and he gets sucked in. Inside he hears noises. "Is someone else in here?" he asks. "Yeah, I've been in here for a week," the voice says. "Help me find my flashlight and we can get out of here," the cowboy says. "Hell," says the other man, "help me find my keys and we can drive out." Blonde jokes. Two blondes were driving along a road by a wheat field when they saw a blonde in the middle of the field rowing a rowboat. The driver blonde turned to her friend and said, "You know, it's blondes like that that give us a bad name." To this, the other blonde replies, "I know it, and if I knew how to swim, I'd go out there and drown her." Jokes about women. The vice president of a local company had quite a problem. He was told by his boss to lay off one of his employees, either Mary or Jack. His choice was a tough one because Mary had been a devoted employee for 10 years and Jack was a fine worker who had a family to support. At night, the VP tossed and turned in his sleep trying to decide which of his employees he would lay off. Finally he decided, the first one to come to work tomorrow would be the one. Morning finally comes and the VP waits at the office for one of the two employees to arrive. At 8:55 Mary walks into the office. "I've got a difficult decision," the VP says, "I either have to lay you or Jack off." "Oh. Jack off," Mary says. "I've got a headache." Dirty jokes. This couple were in bed getting busy when the girl places the guy's hand onto her P*south-southeasty Put your finger in me. She asks him. So he does without hesitation. As she starts moaning. Put 2 fingers in, she says. So in goes another 1. She's really starting to get worked up when she says, put your whole hand in. The guy's like, okay. So he has his entire hand in, when she says moaning. Aloud, put both your hands inside of me. So the guy puts both of his hands in. Now clap your hands, commands the girl. I can't, says the guy. The girl looks at him and says, see, I told you I had a tight P** south-southeasty. Yo mama jokes. Yo mama is so skinny, she uses dental floss for toilet paper. Jokes about men. A woman walks into a pet store wanting to buy a pet for her husband, but she finds all the pets are so expensive. The woman says to the clerk at the counter, I'm looking to buy a pet for my husband, but I'm on a very short budget. No worries, replies the clerk. We've just ordered in a very large bullfrog that can give barrel *o jobs. Barrel *o jobs, says the woman, buying the frog. Thinking it would be a great gag gift, so she goes home and gives the frog to her husband, explaining the frog's talent. With a laugh, the husband walks off, leaving the frog in the kitchen. In the middle of the night, the woman wakes up to the sound of pots and pans flying around in the kitchen. She goes down to find her husband and the frog reading cookbooks. What are you two doing? She asks. Well, says the husband, if I can teach this frog to cook, you are outta here. Blonde jokes. Blonde, what does IDK stand for? Brunette, I don't a Euro trademark T no. Blonde, OMG. Nobody does. Alcohol jokes. A man walks into a bar, and tells the bartender to pour him a 12-year-old single malt scotch, before the trouble starts. The bartender pours his drink and quietly moves away. After finishing his drink, the man calls the bartender back and tells him, pour me a 15-year-old scotch before the trouble starts. The bartender thinks this is very strange but pours him the 15-year-old scotch. After finishing that drink, the man tells the bartender to pour him an 18-year-old scotch, before the trouble starts. The bartender is becoming a little worried, but pours him the 18-year-old scotch. Before the man finishes his 18-year-old scotch, the bartender finally gets up the nerve to ask, say friend, when this trouble is going to start? To which the man replies, the trouble starts when you find out that I don't have any money.